Okay, welcome back everybody to the MidnightTech YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a basic review of this Itech RF-A250 reflow oven. I recently had to buy this because my other reflow oven took a dump in the middle of a work week about 2 weeks ago. And I had to get a new oven delivered quickly. This is available on Amazon for a decent price. A lot, but a decent price for what it is. I want to go through some basic things with this and show some basic things and show the machine running and just explain some things. So first off, this machine operational with the it has a ventilation output out the back for the fumes that are made by reflowing. It's a standard 4-inch dryer hose connection. With that attached, the machine's dimensions are 19 inches deep, so front to back, including the dryer hose needing to be connected. It is 12 inches tall, which includes the feet, so from this board here up, it's 12 inches tall. And from left to right, it is 17 inches wide. Now, operational, like your inside dimensions in here, you have 9 inches from the most upper front area to here. You have a 1-inch tray area. This tray is 1 inch. And then from left to right, it's 11 3/4. So that is your build space. Inside, this oven comes with a sheet of mica. Keep this in here. That is like the best thing ever that I've learned. I love that sheet of mica. And then up inside, which you won't see here, but you'll see through the operational camera, there is a internal circulation fan that makes the heat super crazy even inside of this oven. Like, this oven has such even heat. I've not had a problem with doing any type of circuit board work yet. But since this is reviewed, the only other feature I need to talk about, and I'll put a screenshot of what the software looks like, this does have a serial interface for PC. The software is pretty, I'll be bluntly honest, it's useless. But since you do have this and you can download the software, if you want to automate something like triggering the oven to run a cycle, stuff like that, you can do that through the software. If you're more of a nerd than I am, you could probably automate that process through like a touchscreen PC if you wanted to, because it is here. It's a feature, but the software for it that comes with it, it's a waste of time. Completely useless to me. So I'm going to boot the machine up here. On the back, the power switch is in the back left here, is with the power plug and a breaker. I'm not going to flip this machine around. It's too heavy for me to move it around. It is in its permanent spot already. So I'm going to turn it on, and the first thing you're going to notice is a fan. That fan is on as long as the machine is on, even if the screen itself is turned off. It's kind of loud and annoying. It's a general circulation fan for all the electronics up top, but it is on when the machine's physical power switch is turned on in the back. There's no turning it off. But I digress. So I'm going to turn this on. You can see we have a very simple menu here. Like, probably the most simple menu in the world. So you have weld, constant, and use. Constant is if you want to preheat this oven to a certain temperature and leave it there. That is for that. So you could possibly use that for something. I don't know. Maybe if you had water damage on something you wanted to slowly bake the water out, you could set it to like 100 degrees Celsius and just let it slowly bake. I don't know. Weld is the run feature. So that will actually, like, if I click weld, it'll bring me in here. It brings it to the ready with the temperature curves I have set up. And stuff like that. If I go back is the power button for some reason. It's not labeled, but that also acts as a back. You can use your up and down arrows here. To go to use, you can actually set, I've set this curve myself, but it has several presets. My biggest issue with the presets is, you can see across the top, it's really hard to see, but the text has to scroll all the way across the screen for no reason for it to go to the next menu. So it's a bit slow in the menuing, but it's not the biggest, it's not a deal killer considering what this machine can do. So we're going to bring this to weld. Oh, sorry, run. And we're going to be doing a PCB I just finished on my thing. I preset the temperature curve, so over here on the diagram it has preheat, soak, reflow, hold, and cooling. It is not called that in the menu when you go to program it. It is called ready, heat, weld, hold, and cool. So these are the things I had to do for the chip core solder that I'm using. I also wrote down my PowerPuck internal PCB version. But these is in minutes and seconds. So this will give you a basic idea of what's actually here. So this is actually in this order, but it's what internally the machine actually calls it. It's not what this sticker says. It is what this says. That took me a hot minute to figure out. The only other thing I gotta say before I put this board in, because I'm not going to really show this off, is this does have a fan in it to pull the fumes out through the dryer hose right here. What I've had to do is I have an active fan right here, and this is kind of about a 3-inch space. So when the fan in the machine turns on, it'll be pulled up in here. I just leave this one at full blast. I'll turn that on here in a second. I would just let the convection of the oven itself push it out, but since I need since the nearest output is like 12 feet away, this is like triple the CFM of this fan, so I just let the natural heat rise and the machine's fan just kind of, you know, output into this fan, and I don't smell or do anything. I need to make this more permanent, but I had to do this because I don't want my external fan pulling a vacuum on the oven, because then it'll affect its temperature and heating and cooling. So I'm going to turn on my big main fan. I'm going to start this GoPro, and we are going to do a full cycle of this oven running a batch of power pots. It is. So these just finished. They have USB ports, micro Molexes. There's basically everything in any little part that would be difficult to solder on these boards. Give me a minute, I see something tweaked. I should have checked this first, but I didn't. Okay, we're good. We're missing a single Molex. Let me put that on there real quick. The review for the pick and place machine for the Panda Placer is coming soon. I just haven't gotten to it. It's been a very busy few weeks. So I'm only going to do one panel here. I can fit 2 in here, but personally I really see no need. So slide that in there, push that in, and we are going to turn this on. I want to turn off the big main light here. That way it's screen easier. And we're going to give this a run. I'm going to let it do its thing here. And I'm going to be quiet for the next 8 minutes while this does its job. Okay. And like that, it's done. Now, once the PCB is down to a comfortable temperature where you wanted to touch it, you can remove it, if you would please. This is still scalding hot in here, so I'm not going to touch that for a little bit. But otherwise, everything reflows very nicely. The only step left after this is ultrasonic cleaner to clean up any stray solder balls, stuff like that, you know, normal junk that you get when you're doing this type of thing. The cool part about this oven is you don't need to remenu. Since it's ended, you can put another board in immediately and click run, and it will just, it's really good for like once you get your temperature curve set up, you can just click run and do it. The only thing I recommend if you want to mess around with the machine more than I have, because I'm still learning how the cooling works, I would recommend allowing the machine to get down to probably about 80 C before putting in another PCB. That way it doesn't screw up the preheat cycle of your stuff, especially if you have a lower preheat cycle of like 145 C to 180 C like I do. I recommend making sure the machine's decently below 100 C before you start your next PCB. Otherwise, it's going to be, the machine's going to be sitting here waiting for it to cool down anyways. So, if you wanted to mess with the cool cycle more, go for it. But outside of that, I've used this machine probably 26 times. That's not including me spending an entirety of a whole day tuning it so it reflows things the way I want it to be reflowed. This thing does great on my USB ports. I have not had to, maybe 1 or 2 out of every batch of 16 panels I do, because I do panels. Normally only like 1 or 2 of my actual boards out of like 16 of these panels I need to rework the USB port. So I think that's very, very acceptable. That heat's even enough in this thing for that and all that type of stuff. But otherwise, I don't know how to really rate these things, other than like I am very satisfied with this machine so far. I got a little bit more learning to do again when it comes to the cooling cycle, but this thing has been great, reliable, and out of the box, no firmware modifications, no modifications to any thermocouples, and that's kind of a big deal for these SMD machines. They have a habit, from what I've seen on Reddit and EEVlog and other places, you need to modify the heck out of them to get them stable. I've put other temperature probes in this thing to verify the temperature that's saying, and it's close enough. There's a bit of lag time of what this is saying compared to what's in here, but it is hitting your target temperatures. Like, it does hit your target temperatures, and it will not start the next step till it hits your target temperature, for the most part. Like, I've not seen like much variant, at least in the one I got. So I highly recommend this machine if you don't want to mess around with modifying a brand new machine. Yeah, well, that's about all I got. I'll see y'all later, I guess. Bye bye.